Hey folks, welcome back. It's Lucid and we're back in NewCasting. So let's get a move on with it. We've got a lot of action this turn, it looks like. A lot of fighting between Jomon and Lemuria, and Jomon and Bogarus, and Lemuria, and I think maybe Agartha too or something. So, message from Lemuria. General Diplo update. Glad I could help mediate the peace between Abyssian and Phlegra. The latter is willing to join the Jomon war, even though I counted them out. So that means Phlegra is going to jump in and help against Jomon. Had hoped for a similar conclusion between Ulm and Agartha, but no luck there. Ending Agartha ASAP to free up Ulm. Seems like the last. Okay, so he's going to end his non-aggression pact with Agartha, or attack. I thought he already did that, so I think he's going to attack Agartha to free up Ulm to go after Jomon. So it's pretty interesting. It looks like people are still really hell-bent on putting down Jomon, but Lemuria is crossing them right now. And I think this is like a really interesting thing in Dominions, is that people can have outdated information. So things can change pretty quickly, but if you don't update your understanding of the game state to keep up with that, then you can kind of be pulled into the wrong diplomatic engagement. So maybe there was a period where the war against Jomon needed all these players, but now it might be more along the lines of maybe get a small concession from Jomon, but then attack Lemuria. The time of the coalition. Side effect. Satis is a free agent and susceptible to Jomon corruption, but that seems reasonable enough and not to but Satis seems reasonable enough and not to into brinksmanship. Brinksmanship being flirting with disaster in end of the game, right? So I'll throw the game to Jomon if you don't do XYZ. That's what he's talking about. The timing of the coalition attacks and the various levels of commitment don't fill me with joy. Bogarus might fall before anyone does major damage to exploit their fight. The throne situation is still precarious, but I did what I could. Purgatory makes me more reliable. Makes me more reliable on others to stop Jomon. Makes me more reliant on others to stop Jomon, which they could have done before when they weren't too big. But here is hoping. I thought about various dispel attempts, but don't see me or any other willing friends winning that economic war. I'm thinking slow and steady Dom push, and these raiding parties to boot will circumvent Purgatory well enough. Yeah, Purgatory can be helpful, certainly, fighting Lemuria, but it's usually not enough on its own. Purgatory's good fighting Lemuria if you were the one applying Dom pressure. If you're pushing into them, it can be a nice way to just kind of consolidate gains. But as a defensive thing, where it should be better, because you've got Dominion in your lands, Lemuria is pushing into you. You can still raid with very small parties of ghosts, and it tends to kind of be okay. I don't know. It's good against ghosts for sure, but a lot of times you're going to be down net territory if you're depending on relying on Purgatory, so it's not great in that way. A message from Abyssian. Doing my part to try and stop Jomon's throne rush by attacking the one on my border. Pardoning Richard Nixon is bringing his gate cleaver. Time to find out what fresh hell Jomon has in store for me. Okay, and that's interesting, because I believe this is what Ravzia was saying, which was Abyssian is probably just going to focus on that corner throne. Oh my god, that is a ton of Sin Lesser Horrors. This must be 8 or 9 castings, and this is going to be from Bogarus. This is a pretty significant investment. This probably is, 80, 90 blood slaves. It's a lot of Swarm. Swarm's going to help here a bit against the Horrors, because they're very killy, but... Oh, Will of Fates is up. Okay, I think we know how this is going to go. I believe that was Will of Fates. Wait, what did I hear? I heard something. Oh, it was Will of Fates, okay. Put on Team Code so you still can't really see anything. Because it's Independence versus Jomon, and Jomon's color is gray. Yeah, Will of Fate's really good. God, what was that? Not really sure what that projectile was. So barely lose anything. And this is one of the things with Sin Lesser Horror. So this was, you can just count the number of commanders, because no matter what you roll, you get one commander per cast. So we've got 2, 4, 5, 9, I'm sorry, 7, 8. 8 casts. So that's a lot. But this is the thing. Once you have battle magic out, really this is just a gym bait. It didn't really kill much that's consequential. So yeah. And then we've got this. So this is picking off a Ryujin. I think this is a much better use case for Sin Lesser Horror. Yeah, picking off these guys, it is really hard to thug Sin Lesser Horror. So it's a really good counter to that. Oh, here it looks like they got away, but I don't know. They didn't in this battle. So, yeah. And then pings this Agartha PD. Oh, this was supposed to be a raid, but Agartha has 82 PD here. The casual 82 PD. What's up, guys? Let's start with Abyssian and Jomen. Okay, so Abyssian is mobilizing vampires to do some light raiding. The vampire went here, gets killed by an Onioji. Let's see if it was a Soul Slay. Power of the Spheres. Oh, Living Clouds. That will do it. And where, yeah, okay. Pardoning Richard Nixon, the White Mage. Where's Gerald Ford? Has he been deployed? Not sure. Okay. So this is nice, though. He's blocked some of the Jomonese reinforcement paths, so he'll get to see exactly what's in this army before it has time to get on the throne. And quite frankly, there's not enough in here unless Jomon does something really, really fancy to keep this army off of this throne. So that's pretty interesting. There's also a decent amount of... Like, these are Lemurian scales, which are pushing here into Abyssian. So, anyway, this is the Abyssian front. His war over here with Falegra looks to have been over. He gained a tiny bit of land. The real thing is Abyssian's kind of been... They've been just getting dragged back and forth across the map, as we've been talking about. They haven't really been able to make any real progress. Let's come over here and look at this war with Bogarus. So... Oh, okay, wait, where is Bogarus? Bogarus is supposed to be right here. Okay, wait, we'll come down and look at the Lemuria stuff in a minute. Okay, well, yeah, okay, let's start with Bogarus. So, where was the big army he was Sin Lesser Horroring? That must have been... Leodor. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, let's watch this then. So, first there was this horror attempt, which Jim baited the army. And then Lemuria fights the PD? Okay, this was just the PD here, but they kill a Dione, which is a valuable resource. And this Jomon army moves here. And maybe is out of gems now. And then it bumps into this Lemurian army here, and we actually do get a battle. Well, but this is a small battle, except that there's... Rigor Mortis is up, and anytime Rigor Mortis is up, it means you can get a very strange outcome where you win a fight you shouldn't. But there's enough solar rays, and these guys hit hard enough they just kill them. And I'm looking at the candles here. There's not a lot of candles. These are really low. And like low candles, like 1 or 2 purgatory candles doesn't do much. And all this this area had been like Bogarus's. But they really have not done well with the... I think their better bet would have been to have just tried to really kill every single Ryujin with horrors rather than like pinging this army. Because a lot of the... if we look at the Bogarus province graph, you can see it's way down. They haven't lost any major battles yet and they're half their size. Right, so almost all this is due to Ryujin raiding, which is something that you have the answer to. I mean, it's not always going to work, but a lot of times Sinless Sahara is going to kill Ryujin. Okay. This actually looks kind of funny. Have a scout versus scout battle. Oh, he retreats. Okay. And then a Ryujin hits this, which has a ton of PD. You can't... PD is great, but it doesn't work unsupported against thugs. Especially, it looks like they might get the commander here, too. There's 2 commanders, one in each of these tiles. One of them's dead. They've got the second one now, too. So, weird to put Boots of Quickness on a water random. I mean, I guess you save a bit of fatigue from casting quickness, but... yeah, it didn't do personal regen or anything, but interesting. Okay, so he's taken the PD out on this fort. And people are worried about a throne rush. He's got to get all the way back here to this. I just don't see it. This isn't a throne rush. This is like a slow throne push. And this army's not even going towards the throne. Okay. So there's a lot of action. We'll just go through and make sure we're taking a look at all this. A Master Shugenja attacks here. I'm guessing this is Swarm. Yep. Yoink. Ryujin comes in here. Ryujin comes in here. Yeah, he's just got Ryujin problems. Ryujin can be really annoying too, because they actually can attack in a lot of different threat vectors. You don't know how many are going to show up. Right now he's basically using them all to thug. So they're probably easier to kill and predict, but they're still annoying. Okay, so just a bunch of light raiding over here. Falegra's attacked Jomon as well. Let's take a look at Jomon on the score graphs, because while they're doing a good job raiding, which they are, okay, they're still in position 1. I think it's fair to hang in the Jomon coalition, but oh boy, Lemuria as a close position too. I would not be excited. I think the way to do it is you would probably want some small concessions out of Lemuria or something to be in this war against Jomon. And yeah, like when they lose these Dione, like they lost a Dione right here. So actually it's kind of a big deal. A Smasher. He's got a lot of gear on him. He hasn't done summon. Oh, has he done? Oh, he's got 10 reinvigoration. He'll be fine with Rigor Mortis. He's paralyzed. He really needed Soul Vortex and Fire Shield. Oh. Looks like this guy chopped him to pieces. What did he have? A Stinger. Okay. Now Frostbrand. So that was how he died. Okay, so looking rough down there. On the northern part, in these skirmish battles, we've already looked at some of these. God, these whole regions are just, there's so much going on, you know, Lemuria and so many different people fighting Jomon. It's like easy to get disoriented looking at all these flags. So yeah, it's kind of like a continuous theater of war, this whole entire column. Just provinces changing hand every turn. So that's that. Let's come over and take a look at Ulm, because Ulm is still fighting Agartha. Or Agartha is still fighting Ulm. So Ulm has a few vampires that have ridden out here. I wonder what their plan is. This looks like it might be a bloodletting play. That was a lot of crossbow bolts. Darkness is up. Blood Rain. I don't think this... Does he have a Wailing Windscaster or something? Like, what's going on here? And they have a bunch of... I don't understand. Blood Rain in and of itself isn't going to make people run. He's cast Hell Power, oh god. So the horrors are coming. A few more vampires over here. She's got a lifelong protection. I don't think this is a good deal. There's items on these guys. Okay, Agartha's just rolling Ulm right now, but Ulm has a big group here. Are they going to fight into an army or into a PD dump? This is a small army. But it's... Oh, it's crossbowmen. He loses 2 illuminated ones, but kills, you know, about 600 gold worth of stuff, or it routes it at least. Closer to 1,000 maybe. What I'm a little surprised Ulm didn't do was send back in a Firestorm caster against these crossbow stacks. He's already eliminated 1. I'm wondering why he's not trying to do another one here. But we'll find out, I'm sure, at some point. He's got a small group of sea trolls here on top of this Agarthan fort. Some way this is okay for the Ulm and Agartha player. I think it, like, neither of them are really set up to benefit. Like, Agartha could benefit from fighting Jomon, potentially. Well, yeah, for Agartha, I forgot. Like, Jomon's been attacking to their north. And they basically just left this alone. So Agartha hasn't even bothered to counter-raid this. They're so all-in against Ulm. Which, I mean, you should at least be raiding your cap circle back. But I can understand Ulm not really wanting to mess with Jomon and instead finishing off Agartha. Though, right now, he's, like, losing things to Agartha. Like, he's not... I don't think he's clearly winning the war, but all it really takes is, like, one big Firestorm cast, and the war with Agartha is over. So, we'll have to see how that goes. I think that's mostly it for this turn. Let me go through the battles, make sure we didn't miss anything super cool. Yeah, I think we're good. Let's go ahead and go to the next turn. Turn 72. All right, folks. We got turn 72. Message from Jomon. I'm annoyed that the description of Dome of Flaming Death specified enemy spells, but my E3 Master Shugenja with an artifact was killed casting Wizard Tower onto it. P.S. Ravzia, I'm sorry I don't have twice the Ryujin I could have. It's funny. Another message from Jomon. Sorry for the spam. I'm hoping for low casualties this turn. Work has been picking up, and I haven't had as much time as I'd like. I'm also, unfortunately, out of my strategic reserve of gems, and have been working with what I'm making per turn for the last few turns. If anyone gets wise and dispels my Earthblood, Deepwell, or Mother Oak, I'll probably actually die. Still, spirits are high in Camp Jomon. May the best pretender god be coiled around the Pantocrator's throne while at the end of this madness. Okay. And we have a message from Abyssia. Update on the Abyssian State Department. From the Abyssian State Department. Jomon claims to not be doing a throne rush and offers me the throne on their border in exchange for a nap. So that's actually really important because, like, if you're not doing a throne rush, it's like, okay, you said that. But if you offer up a throne, it's like, okay, clearly you're not. I'm tempted to accept and attack Ulm, leave Jomon and Lemuria to fight. I'm moving my army into the fort this turn and sending out my mages scripted with Incinerate to try to kill any Ryujin that drop. Okay. To attack Ulm and leave Jomon and Lemuria to fight. So it doesn't look like he's taking... I'm like sitting here stumbling through this because it doesn't look like he's taken this deal that Jomon's offered. Okay, so it looks like he's just thinking about it. So let's go to Abyssian and see what happens. Okay, so here Jomon attacks. So sometimes if you want to get somebody to get off your back, the best thing to do is to attack them. And after you've beaten them up, then they'll be like, okay, perhaps there's a little more value in peace, not to have these guys running around my lands. Killing my mages. Making me not have fun. A little living water being cast there. So, very different threat vector than normal thugs. Gets attacked here. Kills a salamander. Okay, here Ryujin attacks, but it does not look like they're successful. Yeah, the old summon imps is all it took. Attacks right here. So mostly the Ryujin are successful. So Jomon is hitting this with this golem. I think it had Ritual of Returning on it. Let's check. Yeah. So I think the goal was to gym bait it, but it doesn't look like he was really successful. And then coming down here, what did Jomon try to do to defend this? I'm thinking like a Foul Vapors Trap or something. So he's just casting a few evocations. Does it kill anything? No. Just minus an Onyoji. But there's a small army here with decent mage support. Some Master Shugenjas, one Onyoji. Will this army... So this army's popped the fort. I think Abyssian is going to have more mages. And the other thing that's significant here is it's possible that this could fall to enough Sin Lesser Horror spam or various kinds of magic phase things. So it does mean there's a real possibility that this ends up being a kind of an asymmetrical fight where this army gets wiped and then this army gets to take the throne. If that doesn't happen, we'll probably see right here a very good battle next turn between Jomon and Abyssian, which I'm looking forward to. Would I take the deal? I think whether you take this deal... I think whether you take this deal or not, I think it depends a lot on how well Ulma's doing. And... it's really hard to say. Because on one hand, Agartha's kind of been winning, but I just don't see how it can continue. Like, this army's one firestorm away from just not existing. Like, what's this? This guy should have had... Oh, he can't do Soul Vortex. I thought he had Death 2 somehow. Is he muted? Maybe he doesn't have Death 2. Wait, what are those things coming out? I could have sworn I saw Drain Life. Oh, that was a Drain Life. Yeah, the god's Drain Lifing him. Yeah, that's going to be the difference. Yoink. It looks like he's going for, like, Ulm's cap. Sort of. I mean, like, what about these forts? Why not get them first? It's just like a hateful march. And then Ulm is moving. They're like marching towards each other's cap. This is like the most new player thing that possibly could exist. There's like a thing in new player games. It's kind of like a meme. I mean, normally it happens at the beginning of the game. Now, Ulm is in a position where you can kill this, so it makes sense that if Agartha is going to do this, you just got to take their cap. But I think Agartha wants release from this game. But yeah, there's a thing in new player games where you just people get angry and march at your cap instead of defending their lands with like literally their whole army. Okay, well that's the state of the war over here. They're basically doing a base race of sorts. Lemuria also going to be pulling in the spoils here, taking a bunch of stuff from Agartha. This fort's almost certainly going to fall. And then presumably he'll get some of these provinces too. It's looking pretty good for Team Ghost. All right, let's see what happens next. And the other thing too, this is one of the reasons it's often not good to be the first person to Throne Rush is like people are going to expend a lot of resources trying to put down Jomon. But once that's done, they might not have a lot of resources left to put down Lemuria. It's kind of interesting here. Got a bunch of ghosts being killed by Jomon. I'm guessing solar rays. Not really. Looks like they killed the commander with an air elemental, and then the rest run. Falegra attacking. I'm sure Falegra is just happy to be doing anything other than having to fight Satis. He must have some kind of trauma from the Satisian War. Oh my goodness. Jomon attacking Lemuria. Okay, on the surface of this, I look at this and I say, of course Jomon's going to win. Lemuria has hardly any ghosts. What he does have, though, is Rigor Mortis. And Rigor Mortis is the thing, if you don't have the counters for it, like, you basically, if you're Jomon and you have more than 3 mages in a province, you probably need to be casting relief if you're fighting Lemuria. Because it truly is one of the things, if you don't have the counters for, you just kind of are going to lose. And if we look in the back, there's 3 Grand Lemurs. So there's actually, while there's not a big troop commitment to this from Lemuria's side, there's a very big mage commitment. Because we've got 3 Grand Lemurs, and we've got 3 consuls. And the consuls are going to be pretty tough. Oh no, 4 Grand Lemurs, because there's one up here at the front too. This one have gear on? Not really. Yeah, I think that one died actually. I think it just somehow disappeared. Yeah. What killed it? A longbow. Huh. Thing is, we're at turn 8 or 9, which is usually once units start getting close to fatiguing out. Apparently not quite yet, though. There's some that are getting there. If they're in... These ones weren't in melee for a long time, and that matters because they're going to be recovering a lot more fatigue. But now it's like, what's going to kill all this stuff? The mages are fatigued out with Rigor Mortis up and no reinvigoration. This actually should have been a pretty easy fight. All you have to do is cast Relief. And the thing is, when you're playing Jomon, and you're in this position where you're fighting a coalition, you can't afford to make mistakes like this. You really just can't. I think with Relief up, it's a pretty easy win for Jomon. And I think without Relief, it's a throw to Lemuria. Because these guys would have killed the front line a while ago. But everybody's asleep. There's a lot of Skelly spam coming from the back too, because all that mage support. And if you think about it, everything from the Lemuria side here is about slow battles, right? Like, everything's positioned at the back. They're going to be summoning a bunch of units. They're doing Rigor Mortis, right? For Jomon, it needs to be fast battles, right? So you want mass flight. You want maybe like Fog Warriors. You want, like, battlefield wipes. You want anti-magic being cast. You want relief. I mean, relief is really the counter to rigor or one of the counters to the long battle. Relief is like accepting that it's going to be a long battle. The other ways of fighting rigor are like saying, no, it's going to be a short battle. Relief isn't going to have time to affect. So anyway, this is what happens when you take a long battle against Lemuria and you're not ready to. He just stack wipes the shit out of you. So he didn't even really lose that many of the ghosts. He lost 100 dispossessed spirits, but of the ghosts that kind of matter, it's more like 70 or 80. So yeah, not good for Jomon. The wheels look like they're coming off the Jomon wagon here a little bit. Because what it probably means is that Lemuria is going to move this force. Now, there's a lot of candles here, so he might not want to move them on top of this. But, you know, he could presumably move this force on top of this fort, pop it, storm with the small amount of them, and then move the rest back here. Jomon attacking here. Yeah, he killed that. I mean, Lemuria must be in position 1 this turn, right? Oh, no. Jomon is. Oh, because Jomon attacked a bunch of... A lot of this... But see, this is where the score graph's like lying a little bit. Like, sure, this is how big Jomon is, but a lot of this is like the fresh war with Abyssian, which he probably won't keep a lot of the lands of. It's still reason for concern, but I don't think these are like consolidated earned gains, whereas I think most of the stuff Lemuria has is probably going to be theirs for the rest of the game. Whereas a lot of Jomon's stuff is like, you know, how long is he going to hold it? Not sure. The other thing is this should be... Okay, he kills a Ryujin here. Kills a Dione here. Okay. Kills a Ryujin here. Oh, God. Kills another Ryujin here. Okay, so he's doing exactly what I was talking about last turn. Which he really is focused the horror cannon on the Ryujin. And Ryujin just don't like that. Yeah, they're going to be in a bad way. So, yeah, I mean, while in theory, Jomon's pulling far ahead, them losing that battle this turn, them losing all those Ryujin to send lesser horrors. I mean, Boger's isn't doing a great job reclaiming. I mean, he did here, he did here. Well, he's doing an okay job. He's sitting with the Ryujin and then the scout the next turn. This throne is popped. This throne's under siege. Satis is a bit of a free agent. I'm not sure what they're doing. It's looking like they might go for this throne or something like that. Let's see if there's anything else. I think we've covered most of it. I believe we have covered most of it. Yeah. I think we'll end this episode here. We're past 30 minutes, so we'll go ahead and do turn 73 in the next episode. So tune in then, see what happens. I think the most interesting things are going to be potentially... Well, let me make sure we didn't get it. Oh, yeah, we're going to get probably a big Abyssian Jomen battle. We're going to have Ulm going on top of Agartha, and then hopefully they're going to be doing some interesting stuff to try to take care of this Agarthan stack. And I predict, with all of the raiding that happened this turn, I think next turn is going to be a major down province turn for Jomon. I feel like the wheels are starting to wobble and they're about to come off of the Jomon wagon, but we'll see. Tune in next time and find out. Until then, take care.